Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Such a lovely, crisp morning here in Minnesota. It is Minnesota after all. Okay, here we go. So, Facebook. I saw this post this week, and it made me laugh. It was, "My life feels like a test I didn't study for." And God is the teacher saying, "You've got this," right? And it made me laugh because how often do we forget, I've got this? Despite the chaos, despite it all, I've got this. So, that is our truth. And today I would like us to remember some spiritual foundations that are going to allow us to move forward in that truth. I need to move this mic a little bit. There we go. Even when the quiz seems like a surprise, we know they're coming, right? I mean, it's called life for a reason. Ernest Holmes was asked in one of his final interviews what he wished maybe he had done differently. And he said, "I spent a lot of my life focusing on the law, because that was the one thing I wanted to make sure everybody understood. And I wished I had focused a little bit more on the love." He reminds us in the textbook, "There is more to God than law. We must differentiate between the divine presence as a universal spirit, a thing to commune with, and the universal law, which is simply a blind force. We must daily train our thought to recognize the spirit in everything we do, say, or think. A constant realization of the presence of spirit will provide a sense of divine companionship that no other attitude can produce." I just love that idea. We are always walking with the divine, talking with the divine, thinking through the divine. We can't not do it. Even if we don't recognize it, no one cannot do it. But as we become more aware of it, then we can consciously use it for our own good. And as we use it for our own good, as the reading said, we spread it around. It begins first with ourselves. So today, I would like to take a look at how we become more aware of the presence and the strength of God. We're going to explore our rocks of growth today. So, this is a little too messy. I tried demonstrating this once. It was really messy. So I'm just going to talk you through it. And I'm sure you've seen it, right? It was first written by Stephen Covey. And a time manager, he takes this big jar, right? He puts it down on the desk, and he puts in these rocks. You guys have all seen that, right? And he's like, "Is it full?" Well, no, because now he's going to put in pebbles. Is it full? No, I'm going to put in sand. See how it gets messy? And then you say, "No. Yes, it's full," and he puts in water, right? So now it's full. And the whole idea behind it was, if you don't put the big rocks in first, then they won't fit, right? If you start with the pebbles and the sand and the little things, right? I got to do my list today. I've got to, here's the list, and here's what I'm missing, and here's what I don't have. When you put all of that stuff in first, then it crowds out the bigger foundations that really allow us to stand steady and firm and full of love and glory and respect. Isn't that what we want? That's what I want. I want the world to be more respectful of each other, more loving, more caring, more gentle and understanding. And so, in order for me to be all of those things, especially in today's 24/7 news cycle, right? What's mine to do is to make sure my foundation is solid. So we're going to start with the first rock, which is God. God is good all the time. Not just when things are going well, not just when we like what's happening. It is despite all appearances, life is going well, and God is good. There are these two boys who grew up together, And one became king. And the other one was his sidekick. And one day they go hunting, and the rifle backfires, and the king loses his thumb. And he's just not very happy with his friend. So he sends his friend to prison. It's like, I'm done. A couple of years go by. The king goes out hunting again. And he is attacked by, what do you call those people that eat people? Cannibals, thank you. Cannibals. So here he is, taken with cannibals. They tie him to the stake. They're starting to burn him. And as they go to tie his hands behind him, they realize he's missing a thumb. Well, and that makes him imperfect, so they can't eat him, so they had to let him go. Right? So his friend was always saying, this is good, this is good. So the king goes down to prison. He releases him. He says, I am so sorry I did this. He's like, no, this is good. Because I would have been the one on the stake. So sometimes our good isn't obvious, right? Just, sometimes it just sort of needs to be part of the grander plan, of the grander scheme. Holmes, life is God, and good is the only power that there can be. Einstein, the most important decision we make is whether we believe we live in a friendly or a hostile universe. And that's not just something poetic. That's like the truth. That is truly a spiritual principle. In this teaching, we believe that the universe is impersonal, right? It doesn't have favorites. It doesn't know the difference between big and small and right or wrong or good or bad, who you are or whether you've gotten down on your knees or not. It just says yes. That's it. And it says yes to what we really believe and what we're thinking and what we're doing. It just says yes. So, from that perspective, our mental atmosphere, the tone of our thinking, is what sets our day. It sets our life. But for reality, let's just say our day, because, you do it one day at a time. So, when Einstein invites us to decide whether we're living in a friendly universe or a hostile universe, he's really asking us, are you willing to live in a friendly universe where there is trust and there are blessings and there are gratitude and there's a receptive saying of yes to my good? Or are we living in a hostile universe which reflects our fear and our worries and our separation, not only from ourselves but from the one? So it truly is a very spiritual question. Because here's the thing. Both are true. There are some days it's a friendly place, and then maybe a couple of hours not so friendly, right? But it's important to remember that even though we may not be feeling the good mojo, it's happening. It's happening beneath all of this crazy, and it's happening for a reason that we don't need to know, we don't need to understand. We just need to accept the fact that this too is changing. And it's changing for our good as we accept it as our good. It's about feeling what we're feeling when we're feeling it, experiencing what we're experiencing when we're experiencing it, but then not to get stuck there. It's about putting down the phone and getting busy doing what is ours to do, which is definitely not what we've just been stuck in. It just isn't. Affirm this with me. Good is without bounds.
Good is without bounds.
God is good all the time, and it rocks my world.
God is good all the time, and it rocks my world.
I almost believed that. That's kind of cool. Okay, righteous judgment. Jesus said, judge not by appearances, but with righteous judgment. Righteous in this philosophy does not mean pure. grandiose or otherworldly. Righteous is all about thinking in alignment with the truth, thinking in alignment with God, thinking from that place that's aligning with your heart and your soul, instead of thinking about what you don't want, what you don't like, how things aren't happening the way they're supposed to. Righteous thinking is about the thinking of the God qualities. Really, it is. When we are to judge righteously from that perspective, right, then it's about, we don't see lack, but we see as an infinite opportunity for more good. And that's what we focus on. We're not seeing only sickness. I'm not saying the sickness does not exist, because it does. But even in that sickness, there is a wholeness to life. There is an expression of love and caring. I have a dear friend who recently died somewhat unexpectedly, and she was supposed to be married the next week. And the ICU folks got it together. They found a lavender quilt, her favorite color. They borrowed flowers from someone else's room. The minister dropped everything to suit up and show up. Family got in their cars and drove in as fast as possible. And it just happened. Even in that sickness, there was a wholeness of life expressing itself. It's just amazing how it all kind of comes together out of nowhere, and your dreams are fulfilled. Instead of seeing conflict, what if we knew that peace and harmony was possible? That the peace and harmony in our hearts is expressing in our lives and in our part of the world. This is all called seeing the world through our eyes of truth, with our spiritual vision, instead of the eyes of fear. Not easy, but so doable. Nora Brooks wrote, "When we turn from the outer picture and dwell on the inner reality, harmony and peace are always restored." Alicia shared last week that she really loves her own company. And that's part of the fundamentals of this teaching, is to truly love one's own company. Because when you love your own company, then you have so much more to give and to share. Then you've got the strength you need, that when you're around someone whose company you're not enjoying, you can either reframe it and not tough it out, but just reframe it and move through it, or you can walk away. And it's that spiritual vision that we get to sharpen when we love our own company. Let's affirm this. I see through the eyes of God.
I see through the eyes of God.
All is working together for good, and it rocks my world.
All is working together for good, and it rocks my world.
Oh, so much better. By the end of this, you guys will be pros. All right. Clint Eastwood was directing a movie, and they were all set to do this huge battle outside. All set. And then the skies, out of nowhere, clouds showed up and rain happened. And he was quoted as saying, "Okay, let's go in and shoot the dream sequence." So they went in, they shot the dream sequence. By the time they were done, everything had stopped raining and people had dried stuff off, and they were now ahead of schedule. And this is just such a perfect example of what happens when we stop resisting what's going on. When we stop focusing on how could this be happening to me, this is out of my control, not in the plans, not in my cards. but instead to take that obstacle and see what kind of opportunity can I make out of it. What can I change? What can I shift? Can I maybe just sit for a minute and just breathe, right? Just let it be. It's about not partnering up with the problem. It's about stepping away from the problem and thinking, okay, now what? Because that okay, now what is about you taking a beat and letting spirit respond. Ernest Holmes. We exist in limitless opportunities which are forever seeking expression through us. Life is not happening to us. Life is happening through us. All of the time. So where we put our focus is important because it determines what we're saying yes to, what we want more of. And when we realize that life is not happening to us, we are totally standing in our own power. We are truly standing there, expressing the divine in all of its glory. And the more we do that, the more we set that example for others, imagine what can happen. We become a creative force of good just by breathing and doing what is ours to do. Because when we trust that the universe is friendly, as Einstein suggested we do, then our perception expands. We're now not just diving into that problem. We're now expanding our horizon, seeing, okay, this came out of nowhere and it can go back to nowhere. Because all we need to do is allow some space for grace to move in. Right? Grace, an amazing, amazing power that makes sure things are never as bad as they could be, and they're always a little better than they should be. That is grace. When we trust in the universe, we have that friendly perception that may not look so great, but it is, then opportunity abides. Affirm with me. I live in a universe that rocks with abundance.
I live in a universe that rocks with abundance.
Every moment is packed with divine opportunity.
Every moment is packed with divine opportunity.
Life flows through me, grooving, moving, showing up as my highest good.
Life flows through me, grooving, moving, showing up as my highest good.
Yay. Okay, now we're on to wholeness. Wholeness. Here's Holmes. We often think what we require is money, friends, and physical healing, but these are the effect of the right relationship to life. The universe is a perfect, undivided, whole, and healing place. But only if we unify with it, only when we seek that wholeness. Wholeness, think about it. Wholeness is our natural state. It's how we came into the world. It's how we're going to go out of the world. It's how we're going to continue beyond this humanness, is in a state of wholeness, always. It's kind of like a Persian rug, right? When you look at it, it may not seem to work, but when you take a step back and you look at the whole thing, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And when we get so caught up in what's happening in our world today, what's happening in our life today, what's happening in this moment, when we get too caught up in that, then we forget to take a step back, to breathe, to remember, I like my own company and I'm having a good time, despite it all. You know, it's like spring returns every year. Trust me, it will return. And the tides, they always rise and they fall. Different times, different degrees, but it happens. the planets are in total harmony as they orbit. When we align to the truth that has created all of that, how could we question it? How could we do anything but just say, ooh, baby, give me more of that good? That creative intelligence that knows all, that creates all, it's right here. It's with our next breath. But let's be honest. There are always times when there's fear and there's doubt and there's impatience and there's the need to control and to fix and to manipulate and all of that, right? It happens to every single one of us. But the more solid we are in our foundation, the less time we spend there. It's not about not having ups and downs. It's about spending more time in that place of natural wholeness and bliss. Charles Fillmore, in The Revealing Word, wrote, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. That's trust. That's what it's all about. It's about making that conscious decision to choose the good, the plus side, and not the minus side. Because trust and faith, they're not passive, they're active. We have to take action to live in faith and to move in trust. Affirm with me. I trust Spirit to guide me perfectly.
I trust the Spirit to guide me perfectly.
Life flows through me, and I am always safe, supported, and rocking.
Life flows through me, and I am safe, supported, and rocking.
Yay. Heaven. Heaven is that idea. We believe heaven is right here and right now. So is hell, but let's focus on the heaven piece of it, shall we? So there's this little boy, and he is just full of energy. He is getting into trouble all of the time. And one day, his Sunday school teacher asked, Johnny, how are you going to get into heaven acting like this? And Johnny says, well, I've got a plan. He's like, I'm just going to run in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out. And finally, St. Peter's going to say, either come in or stay out. The truth is, we are already in heaven. It's not a destination. It's an attitude. It's a gratitude. It's a love thing, right? It's about knowing this is good. Yes, it can get better, but this is pretty darn good. It isn't earned. We don't earn heaven. We just get to recognize that it's right here, right now, and so it is. That's it, right? Affirm this with me. Heaven is here now, and it rocks my world.
Heaven is here now, and it rocks my world.
I live in joy, peace, and divine awesomeness every moment.
I live in joy, peace, and divine awesomeness every moment.
That is our truth. Take that in for a minute, because that right there is our truth. So, growth. God is good all the time. Righteous judgment is just thinking and seeing through Spirit's vision. Opportunity is all about looking beyond what we can't control and making our changes. Wholeness, it's who we divinely are, just by being. Trusting that the universe is a friendly place and that God's got our back. And that heaven is here right now. We don't have to run in and out. It's already granted to us. This week, I invite all of us to take a look at an area of our life where we don't feel grounded. And let's look at it from a place of where is there sand and pebbles that we can remove, and focus on that idea that this too is divine, is solid because of who we are. Because if we don't ground ourselves in the big stuff, the big truths, then those little truths, they start to run our lives, and they run our havoc, and yeah, not cool. Because we are rocking our world, and so it is.
So it is.